Well, hi everyone again. So, come to the installation part of putting these DVO Sapphire forks on my Ibis Ripley. So here's the forks, here's the bike. Got to take those old Fox 34 forks off and put these ones on. First thing to do, take the brake caliper off, and that will be a 5mm Allen key. I've put a list of the tools I've used in the description below, so please check it out. Next thing to do is take the stem plate off, usually 4mm Allen key. Put that in there, and then the handlebars out, and just let them rest down, hanging off the cables. Right, so now we want to unloosen the stem. Then you want to do the top cap bolt, which is a 5mm Allen key. And once you undo this, this is going to drop the forks out, so be ready to catch the fork. So take the stem off, all the spacers so they don't fall around, and I've got 5. And let's still get them out. Oh, I forgot to take the front wheel off. Oh dear. One fork removed. And I need to give it a good clean up because I haven't cleaned it actually since I've owned the bike. So let's just do that. So the bearings came out pretty dirty as well, so I'll give those a good clean as well. Okay, so I bought a new crown race for this fork. It was only about £9. What's that, about $12? It just makes it life a lot easier in terms of trying to get the old crown race off the Fox forks. And there's the crown race there. And I'm going to use a crown race setting tool to get the crown race on. Put a bit of anti-seize compound around the crown race just to get it so it slides on nicely. Down with the fork we go. So. You look round the bottom of the crown race against the light and check it's on fully flat, and that looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to grease up the bearings and reassemble the bike with the fork. Now what I'll do is I'll nip up the bolts from the stem just to hold everything in place. And as you can see, we've got the markings here on the steerer column, and this is really useful actually because one of the markings coincides exactly with the stem height, which is fantastic. Great work, DVO, that's really useful. I can still mark it though because I want to get a measurement slightly lower than that. Okay, so now what I've done, you see the mark there, I've measured 2 to 3mm down below, marked it with some metallic tape. I'm going to use the cutting guide and cut it. So always remember, measure twice, cut once, and I've measured it probably about 4 times. A little bit of space below the mark from your stem so that you can get a good preload on the bearings when you come to tighten up your stem. So here comes the time to cut the fork, which is the scary bit, using a good quality hacksaw blade, 32 TPI, and using a cutting guide as well, which makes this job hopefully a lot easier. Right, let's begin cutting it. This is scary, this bit. thing to do is file off the end of your steerer tube just to give it nice smooth, then get all the burrs off. So I'm just going to use a metal file. Right, next thing we need to do is install the star nut, which is this. Here's the kit here. You can just use a bolt and hammer it in, but to be honest, that is the danger of getting it not entirely straight. So I got a star nut installation tool. They're not particularly expensive. That's effectively what this is there. So what you do, you screw the star nut onto the bottom, put it inside the tool, like so, and then fit the plastic spacer, and then it goes. So you can see the tool there, and what you do, you hammer down on that, holding the fork, and hopefully puts the star nut nice and straight in. Take that off. Undo that. And there you go. If you can see this, there's a star nut inserted inside. So success, nice and straight, all nicely done. So you can now put the fork back on the bike. Now's the time to put the fork back in the bike. Hold that, top cap on, spacers, stem, brake caliper on. So, we're going to set up the forks now. First thing to do is set up the OTT, the off the top. To do that first, I've got to let all the air pressure out, so I'll do that now. So I'll unscrew the machined valve cap and let the air pressure out. That's all the air pressure let out. So it's very important when you do the off the top setting on these DVO Sapphire forks that you let all the air pressure out according to the instructions. So I'll put a link below in the description with the fork setup guide. So using a 5mm Allen key, get it into the thing, and it's fully open now, and I'm looking at the chart, and for my rider weight we're looking at 10 to 11 full rotations counterclockwise starting from open, and it's fully open. So now I can put air into the fork. We are looking at, for my rider weight, about 100 psi. Next, I'm going to adjust the rebound, and looking at the chart for the air pressure I put in the fork, which is about 100 psi, it's going to be about 14 to 18 clicks. We want it to be slower or faster. So it's fully open. The next thing to set is the high speed compression, which is this black knurled dial just below the low speed compression. And looking at the chart, I should do, it's fully open now, so all the way to minus. I've got to do 2 full rotations for the air pressure that I've put in the fork. It's quite stiff. You can see you've got the low speed compression on the top. There's 6 settings, so there's firm, soft to firm, and they nicely click into position. So 6 is almost a full lockout. And I like my forks plush, so I'm going to stay at 1. Well, there you go folks, we finished the fork install and it's looking pretty good on the old Ripley there. I can't wait to get it out on the trails and give it a good old try. It's all set up now to the factory settings, and hopefully you'll see the video soon. So please do comment and subscribe and like the video if you feel like you want to, and I'll see you on the trails. Take care.